What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and today I'm going to be listing my fight of the year in boxing for 2022. And like I said in my other videos where I talked about my end of the year picks for 2022, I did these videos really late. But just to get straight into the video regarding the best fights of 2022, I'm going to be listing, as most of you guys know, if you did watch my other fight of the year videos and knockout of the year videos, I did list all the fights that I did pick for the monthly best fights and best knockouts, whatever, but in this case it's obviously on the best fights. So yeah, just to start off in January, for the fight of the month I picked Charles Martin and Luis Ortiz. Their fight was a very good fight, ended in a 6-round knockout for Luis Ortiz. For February, my fight of the month pick was Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor. My pick for fight of the month of March was Lee Wood and Michael Conlon. Then my fight of the month for April was obviously Erickson Lubin fighting Sebastian Fundora. That was a phenomenal fight, just like that Michael Conlon and Lee Wood fight. Then for May, my fight of the month. My fight of the month was Jermell Charlo facing off against Brian Castano in their rematch. Then for June, my fight of the month was Elwin Soto against Hecky Butler. And then my fight of the month for July was Myris Briedis against Jairo Pitaya. And then my fight of the month for August was Philip Hrgovic against Zhilei Zhang. My fight of the month for September was Hector Flores against Sivanati Nanshinga. My fight of the month for October was Vasyl Lomachenko against Jermaine Ortiz. Then my fight of the month for November being Alam Connolly versus Denzel Bentley. Johnny Beck versus Bentley. That was a very good fight. Very underrated fight, actually. And then my fight of the month for December. Online, I had to post a video about the Daniel Dubois and Kevin Lorena fight. That was my official pick on YouTube. But my pick would have been Chocolatito and Estrada 3, their trilogy. But obviously, because DAZN and copyright and everything, it was hard to post a highlight video of it. But that really would have been my pick for December. So I guess you could say I have 2 picks for the month of December. But then, just to narrow it down to like 5 fights, I would say the best 5 of the year would be probably the Chocolatito versus Estrada 3 fight. Like I said, I couldn't post the highlights in December, but it was a very good fight. Another one would be Jermell Charlo against Brian Castano 2. A third would be Sivanati Nanshinga versus Hector Flores. A fourth would be Erickson Lubin against Sebastian Fundora, and a fifth would be Lee Wood against Michael Conlon. And just to narrow it down to my number 1 spot, and before I do that, I'll break down why these fights I had them as the top 5 best. So starting out in no particular order, I guess I would like to talk about the Chocolatito and Estrada 3 fight. I mean, just like their other 2 fights, they just went out there, banged it out for 12 rounds. Both of them exchanging a lot of punches. Both of them just throwing so much. And really, I mean, they always put on a show when they always fight. And, I mean, it was just another showcase of high professionalism and a very good war. And a good rivalry between the two. And then another one to talk about that I would not pick for my official fight of the year would be probably Jermell Charlo against Brian Castano in their rematch. I thought their first fight was very interesting. Obviously ended in the draw, and then Jermell Charlo in their rematch just really shut the lights out on Castano and shut the lights out on talks about controversy and everything by knocking him out. It was a very interesting fight leading up to the stoppage, with Castano throwing a lot of punches coming forward, having less success than the last fight, and then Jermell Charlo obviously ending up getting the knockout. It was just a very good and fun way to end the fight. And then another one that I would not pick for the official fight of the year would be Sebastian Fundora against Erickson Lubin. This fight was phenomenal. It had multiple knockdowns, with Erickson Lubin getting dropped early with an uppercut. then Erickson Lubin's face getting smashed up later on in the rounds, and then Lubin with his face all beat up and mangled. He was able to drop Fundora, and the fight was really close leading up to the stoppage. But then Fundora, I mean, obviously with all the shots he landed on Lubin, Lubin's face was a mask compared to what his face normally is. It was swollen, beat up, and it had to be waved off. And then, lastly, out of the fights I would not pick, it would be Sivanati Nanshinga against Hector Flores. Although their fight was absolutely phenomenal, it was like rock'em sock'em robots in there. I mean, I think the number one spot would go to Michael Conlan and Lee Wood. But to talk more about the Nanshinga fight, I mean, they just went in there, went to war for 12 rounds. Hector Flores got dropped earlier on in the fight. They were just throwing punches. I mean, they were very tiny fighters. I believe it was for the 108-pound title, the IBF title. They were just throwing punches. I mean, just going at it. It was such a phenomenal fight. You guys should go give it a watch. Or watch the highlights I did post on it. I believe so, if they're still up. So, yeah, I mean, that fight, in my opinion, was really, really good. Really phenomenal. Definitely my second best fight of the year for 2022. Definitely the runner-up. But obviously in first place, I'm giving it to the Michael Conlan and Lee Wood fight. I mean, this fight was phenomenal. Lee Wood almost getting knocked out early in the fight, dropped flat in his back, getting hurt. Then he was coming back, easing into the fight. Conlan was trying to box. Lee Wood was coming forward a bit, throwing more shots. As the rounds went on, it looked like it was Conlan all of the way up until the later rounds in the fight when Conlan started to tire. Conlan got dropped. I believe it was in the 10th or the 11th round. And then in the 12th and final round, Lee Wood came out there, threw a massive right hand on Michael Conlan, knocked him out of the ring, knocked him out, and successfully defended his WBA world title. So that was my pick for Fight of the Year of 2022. Comment down below if you do agree with my conclusion or not. So overall, I believe that the top 5 best fights of 2022 were Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano, Erickson Lubin and Sebastian Fundora, Sivanati Nanshinga and Hector Flores, and obviously my pick for 2022's Fight of the Year in boxing is Lee Wood versus Michael Conlan, which ended in a 12th round knockout victory for Lee Wood. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.